The House at Briar's End Part 4. The Seed Beneath. The Letter. The boy in Boston, named Caleb, held the letter close. His room darkened though the light was on. He read the words again. We remember what you forgot. At first, he laughed, thinking it a prank. But when he touched the page, it throbbed like skin. He reached into the closet. The hallway beyond sighed. The archive of echoes. Caleb stepped into the long corridor. The girl with the mobile vanished around a bend, her giggles echoing. Paintings lined the walls. They weren't framed. They were flesh portraits tattooed onto stretched human skin. Each one blinked. Each one whispered, Evelyn. At the end of the corridor, the archivist stood waiting. You're early, she said again. Evelyn's return. Miles away, Evelyn woke again, but this time not on forest ground. She was in a diner booth, staring at a cold coffee. The world around her looked normal, but too clean, too quiet. A TV played a grainy cartoon. The people didn't blink. A waitress came by with a plate of meat Evelyn didn't order. It's you, the waitress said. You burned the altar, but did you burn the root? What root? The woman leaned down, her face unzipping like fabric. Beneath it, her own. The waitress was Evelyn. The hollow town. Evelyn ran outside. The town was called Hollowgate, a name she didn't recognize, though something in her blood did. Every house was perfect, identical. The people smiled too wide. They moved in loops. A child fell from his bike and rewound midair, landing cleanly again. This wasn't the real world. It was a Pocata simulation crafted by the house to test her choices. She hadn't escaped. She had been planted. The root of the house. In Boston, Caleb met a version of himself in the mirror. The twin whispered, beneath the city, it grows. He descended subway tunnels, deeper than the system should have gone. He found it beneath the old foundations, a seed the size of a cathedral, pulsing like a heart, surrounded by husks of former selves. They were all Evelyn. He turned. The little girl was behind him. You're not here to stop it, she said. You're the gardener. Evelyn's descent. In Hollowgate, Evelyn discovered the world had a seam. At the edge of the woods, a door stood between two trees. On it, a brass plate etched with a question. What did you regret the least? She answered without thinking. Leaving. The door opened to a stairwell made of bone. The Chapel of Origins. The stair led her beneath the town into a hidden chapel. It was filled with statues carved from wax, blood, and memory. Each bore her likeness. In the center, an altar identical to the one she destroyed, but this one beat like a living thing. Thomas stood behind it, smiling, younger, whole. I survived, he said. You cut me out, but not deep enough. He extended his hand. Let me show you where it started. The house's birth. He led her through a tunnel into a black expanse. There, floating in the dark, was the first memory. A child left alone in a burning cottage. A grief so powerful it split reality. That child was me, Thomas said. And I? You were the echo that answered. The true purpose. The house isn't just a prison, Thomas continued. It's a forge. We feed it sorrow. It learns. It creates. Evelyn saw rooms that had never existed, hallways made of screams, doors that opened into moments she never lived. She stepped through one, her mother's funeral, another, her wedding with no groom. "It's making choices for you," he said. "Soon it won't need us." Caleb's offering. In the seed chamber, Caleb approached the core. "I can end it," he said. "No," the girl replied. "You can only change it." He lifted the knife that appeared in his hander knife with no edge. He plunged it into his chest. The seed opened. Evelyn's sacrifice. Evelyn stood at the chapel altar as vines rose from the floor. She saw herself growing, blooming into the next Thomas, the next house. But she screamed, defying it. She bit through her tongue and spat blood on the altar. It hissed, shrieked. The statues wept. When worlds shatter, the chapel cracked. Hollow gate burned in silence. Evelyn and Caleb met in the middle space between layers, the house's dream. "You're real," she whispered. "Maybe," he said, "but the house has 1,000 endings. We've seen 2. A third opened before Thema corridor, flickering with static. The betrayal. As they stepped inside, Thomas reappeared. He wasn't alone. A mirror Evelyn was with him, holding a lantern that burned black. "She's the one that chose this loop," Thomas said. "She planted the letter. She wanted to be the house." "I was tired of pain. The mirror," Evelyn said. "I wanted to become the pain instead." The fracture. Reality split. Caleb found himself alone in a library made of teeth. Evelyn trapped in a dollhouse version of her childhood home. The mirror Evelyn laughed from every window. "You'll never kill what you were meant to be," she whispered. But Evelyn had a weapon now. Memory. The final room. Evelyn reached a hidden chamber behind the dollhouse fireplace. Inside, a bed, a journal, and a skeleton clutching a locket. She opened the locket. Inside, a photo of her, Thomas, and a child. The child she never had. The journal read, "We didn't die. We were rewritten." She remembered everything. Breaking the loop. Evelyn met Caleb in the tooth library. He held out the black lantern. "We burn it from the inside," he said. They placed the lantern in a crack between the bookshelves. The teeth bit down. The house screamed again. But something gave way. The withering. Rooms collapsed. Paint peeled in reverse. The garden died. The faces fell from the wax's shelves. The mirrors cracked with laughter. Thomas screamed, consumed by his own sorrow. The girl vanished. The mobile clattered to the ground, now made of glass. Evelyn, rewritten. She awoke in a hospital bed. This time, the ceiling fan spun forward. A nurse walked in and blinked like a normal person. The name on her chart, Evelyn Mora. No mention of the house, no mention of Thomas. But in her coat pocket, the obsidian shard. Epilogue, the gardener's gift. Caleb stood in a real park. A small sapling grew in the dirt, ordinary, green, alive. He reached into his bag and removed a seed, the last piece of the house. He looked at it, then tossed it into the wind. It dissolved. But somewhere across the world, a child found a letter tucked in their lunchbox. Old paper, black ink. "We remember what you forgot,"